Take one part off-season and deserted luxury resort hotel. This one is in Ostend, Belgium. Add one newlywed couple. Bring in two mysterious women. Sprinkle in a serial killer and some grisly murders. And you may think you know where this story is going, but you have no idea. What you do have is the makings of the 1971 English-language Belgian cult horror film Daughters of Darkness, directed by Henry Kumel and starring Delphine Seyrig, Danielle Ouimet, John Carlin, and Andrea Rao. Daughters of Darkness is a glamorous, erotic, stylized, and most importantly, adult vampire story. Because when you think about it, all of our most recent popular vampire tales, well, a lot of them, have revolved around teenagers, which is very much an aughts thing. I'm looking at you, Vampire Diaries and Twilight. And 1971's Daughters of Darkness, with its story of manipulation, seduction, and perversion, is definitely not for the tweens. And in an era that saw a proliferation of vampire films that challenged and thrilled audiences with darker themes and subversions of the traditional story, Daughters of Darkness's eroticism combined with its elegant and seductive aesthetics was an artful and moody entry and one of the best and most beautiful vampire tales of the 1970s. Sitting at the intersection of erotic European cinema, the sexual revolution, and the massive success of Hammer Films' Christopher Lee's Dracula, Daughters leans into its art house aesthetic, but never shies away from the implied horror element that makes up the heart of the story. The film focuses on two newlyweds, Stefan and Valerie, who spend their honeymoon at an off-season seaside hotel where they run into the mysterious Countess Elizabeth Báthory. The name meant to deliberately reference the historical Countess Báthory,
but she was best known as the Scarlet Countess.
Imagine, she bled 300 virgins to death.
Some say 800.
and her young protege, Ilona. Simultaneously, a series of grisly murders of young, beautiful women has the local population and authorities on high alert.
Third, bloody night in Bruges. Another young girl, a throat cut.
As the four get uncomfortably acquainted and the Countess begins to obsess over Valerie, they become entangled in a mess of sex, death, desire, and horror. Delphine Seyrig as the Countess seduces the couple and us, the viewer. Her deliberate and forward speech, her long, slow, lingering gazes, her gothic aura, and the cultural iconography of glamour and sex that comes with her look referencing Marlene Dietrich gives the Countess a smooth and elegant exterior, but it's layered over a manipulative and murderous core. And all of this takes place in the isolation of the empty resort and under the gray, gloomy skies of off-season Ostend. The place is dead. In the empty hallways and deserted dining rooms, the lives of Stefan and Valerie and Ilona and the Countess begin to dance dangerously around one another as Ilona and the Countess work to drive Stefan and Valerie apart. Valerie realizes she doesn't know the man that she married. She doesn't know the darkness that has taken hold within him because of secrets he's keeping. And the horror of those murders, those gruesome murders of beautiful young women, it's always in the background. There's one other person, a witness to this, and that's the concierge, who realizes that the Countess Báthory has been there before.
It seems to me that Madame has stayed already at this hotel. No, it's impossible.
Oh, how so?
It was such a long time ago, and Madame looks exactly like a lady who must have changed a great deal since.
Do you happen to remember her name?
Filmed on location at the Treme Palace Hotel in Ostend and the Hotel Astoria in Brussels. The film mixes the traditional old world with the modernness of Stefan and Valerie, and the out-of-time yet also timeless style of the Countess and Ilona. Instead of an old dark castle, we have a posh yet empty resort. Instead of capes and fangs and bats, there are silver lame gowns, dramatic hairstyles, and blood-red lipstick.
So Delphine has connotations of Marlene Dietrich.
You're jealous.
And her maid Ilona of Louise Brooks.
Well.
So that in their exteriorization, they would be immortal.
And though his initial brief was to craft a commercial horror movie with the required ingredients of sex, blood, and terror, the added touches of surrealism and symbolism, along with the elegance and considerate composition, elevate the film above others in the genre. When discussing the character of Countess Elizabeth Báthory, Kumail described her as a dictator.
She's a demagogue and a dictator, so I put her in the Nazi colors, red, black, and white. That is the color scheme that she wears.
And the color red dominates. Even scenes fade to red instead of black. It all plays into creating a strange, unbalanced atmosphere. And there's a relatively small amount of blood. And it's that strange 70s blood which makes it almost blood in the abstract. It's the Countess that embodies all the fear and danger. She is both menacing and alluring. At times, her gaze and half smiles are unsettling because they hint at something sinister underneath. The film never slips into the realm of exploitation. It commits to combining style and substance and sophistication. It's dominated by Delphine Seyrig's nuanced and hypnotic performance as the Countess. That reminds us that sometimes there is horror when the lights are on, and that terror can lurk on the edge of comfort, and sometimes it can be all too easy to be seduced into darkness. There are 8 million stories in the cinema cities. This has been one.